last communication with our agent was 26 hours ago. We expect an immediate rescue. Shadow the Hedgehog.
Understood. Initiating the mission now.
Growing up, I was a Sonic boy. Something about my malleable brain mixed with the flashing colors locked me into being obsessed with this series my entire life.
Yo, when I find Sonic, I'm gonna beat his ass.
And one character has brought me back to this series time and time again. No matter what state the fandom is in, I will always come back just to see a glimpse of one of my favorite characters in all of media. That character being Sonic. Duh. The exaggerated swag of a blue hedgehog, can-do attitude, and pure unadulterated heart has made Sonic one of my comfort characters throughout the years. From Heroes to Secret Rings to Colors to Frontiers, Sonic has always pulled me back in just so I can see what the hell he's gonna do next and be entertained throughout.
I do have something to say.
Oh, go off, King!
He's cocky but kind, heroic but carefree, fast but able to slow down when needed. Sonic has been there throughout all these years and has been something that I can kind of rely on. This connection to him has made me pretty disinterested in the entire supporting cast. This, compounded with Sega sidelining everyone but Sonic ever since 2010, has made it hard for me to connect with any other character in the franchise. And this has been the case with Shadow the Hedgehog. Even before I knew what edgy was, I knew that this was weird. I'll come out and say it, I'm not a big fan of the loner, brooding type characters. In Berserk, Guts can be a little boring to read. In One Piece, though he has some impactful and cool moments, Zoro doesn't crack top 5 Straw Hats for me. And Shadow the Hedgehog, to me, has been some weak Sonic faker.
Faker? I think you're the fake hedgehog around here.
So when Sonic Generations X Shadow first got revealed, I wasn't really too pogged. As it got closer, I decided I'd at least get it, but I was far more excited for Sparking Zero that I didn't really care for Generations. And then I played it. Okay, actually, before I played it, I was watching the Dark Beginnings series as they were dropping, and the hype started to build. Beautifully animated shorts chronicling the lead up to the game, as well as getting some vignettes of Maria before she... So I played the game, and not only, in my opinion, is this the best gameplay since, dare I say, Adventure 2, but the story is amazing. The cutscenes are animated beautifully with so much subtle character acting that has been missing since, like, Unleashed. And speaking of character, Shadow is oozing so much, and I ain't talking Black Doom. His line deliveries were all solid, and the hell he's put through is felt all throughout the campaign. By the end of the final cutscene, I was left with one feeling. Do I like Shadow more than Sonic? There's no way. Sonic has been my boy since I was like 8. But the more that I replay this game, which I've never replayed a Sonic game as much as I have with this one, the more that I rewatch the cutscenes, the more that I dye my hair red, the more that I'm left thinking, Shadow is a stronger character than Sonic. And it's not even close. You thought this video was about power scaling. No, it is about character writing. As an evergreen character, Sonic has stayed relatively the same throughout each and every game, which is fine since the games aren't this long-spanning story. But it's nice when your main character struggles, gets angry, experiences sadness, or literally any emotion other than happiness, really. It didn't used to be like this. Sonic was more than this obnoxious, gotta go fast dweeb. He was just a nonchalant, chill dude who went with the wind and always fought for what he believed in. And even when he was being dragged along, he was able to help and inspire those around him into finding themselves in what they believe in. But something about this Sonic has changed, and now he kind of seems stuck in this false version that doesn't capture who Sonic was. Always cracking horrible jokes and acting like this savior hero. Nothing phases the dude. He was tortured. It wasn't until Frontiers that we actually got to see Sonic in pain, but with these stilted animations, it's hard to feel bad for the dude. Doesn't help that Sega has mandated that Sonic can never cry or show excessive emotions. All this has made the dude unbearable to play as and listen to. I just know he's not gonna spit some beautifully deep sentence that hits you when you least expect it.
Nothing starts until you take action. If you have time to worry, then run.
And moving to the movies, though we get a more emotive Sonic who's sad, angry, lonely, I think we can all agree that this guy and this guy aren't the same guy. This is a hyperactive, memey child, and while I do love these movies, I'm not gonna say that the characterization is that on point. But the bonus is that we get to see Sonic and the others grow and experience things unlike with the games. Based on the trailer for Sonic 3, he's still cracking horrible jokes.
Konnichiwa?
But I'm hoping that he'll mature more due to the dire situation they're in, but who's to know?
I'm to know. I just got out of the movie and yeah, Sonic is still making bad jokes, but I feel like they're a little bit better. They're not as like really bad as before, but he's able to help out, you know, everybody emotionally more than just like physically saving the day. He was able to help Shadow throughout some stuff. But as a whole, quick review, 5 out of 5, a fucking amazing movie. It's so good. I know I haven't started talking about Shadow yet, but he's really good in this movie as well. I'm gonna come out and say it. I'm not a Keanu Reeves fan, but he killed it. Yeah, as a whole, he was just badass. He was fucking awesome. So, damn. Mufasa!
Back to the games. Why don't we know anything about Sonic's past? I mean, I'm not expecting some tragic backstory on why he wears his iconic shoes, but like, anything to give us some history on this back and forth he has with Eggman. The stories just happen to Sonic. He doesn't really have anything driving him. It's fine when there's another character that can grow, like Chip or even Elise, but when there isn't, we're just getting Sonic at his absolute worst. And this criticism is tenfold when it comes to the rest of the cast, because all they do is follow this homeless bum all day. Get a job. You know who has a fucking job? Shadow the Hedgehog.
Agent Shadow, E123 Omega has engaged Mephilus. Head to the Wave Ocean, head to Wave Ocean. Agent Shadow.
And I guess a motorcycle license too. Damn. On face value, Shadow seems like the same character, always strolling up with his arms crossed and pouting at everything. Okay, he does do all that, but there's more to it than edge for edge's sake. Shadow has a past. So, if you didn't know, Shadow was created by Gerald Robotnik to be the ultimate life form and cure his granddaughter Maria's illness. I don't know how exactly Shadow was going to do that, but I digress. They all lived happily on the space colony Ark until the government shut everything down by raiding the base, capturing Gerald, and murdering Maria. Not before she sends Shadow to Earth, and he's frozen for like 50 years until he's awoken to help Eggman with blowing up the moon, but then he joins Sonic, and then he dies, but actually he's not dead because he wakes up, but he doesn't have his memories anymore, and it turns out he's actually part space alien demon that wants to conquer the Earth, and also maybe he's a clone. I think I got it all. The dude's been through some sham, and that jam stays with him through every appearance. He's constantly haunted by the memory of Maria, always calling out to her when he dies in game. His happiness is torn from him and he's left helpless. The so-called ultimate life form, and can't even save the one person he cares most about in this world. Of course he's gonna be angry and hate humans, want to crush everything in his way because he's been burned. This is where Shadow the Hedgehog, the game, does an amazing job at showing just how wide Shadow's character can grow. That sounded like inflation. Shadow is such a rich character, and Sega knew this because they created a story with so many branching paths. Now ultimately, a lot are the same with subtle changes, but even if you boil it down to a good, a bad, and a neutral, that's 2 more than I've ever played in a Sonic game. And the thing is, each choice feels like a choice that Shadow would make. If this was Sonic, yeah, I don't think he'd fall down the meme hole so deep that he'd agree to kill the president. But Shadow would.
Destroy that craft and kill their leader.
And if he finds the light and realizes that Maria wouldn't want him to be evil and kill humanity, then yeah, it makes sense that he'd team up with the others and defeat the villain. Nothing feels out of character for him because they wrote it all to make sense for who Shadow is as a person, or hedgehog. The true ending sees Shadow let go of his past once and for all, hitting us with an adios Shadow the Hedgehog, which is what Maria said to him as a final goodbye, and Sonic said it after Shadow sacrificed himself. It's such a deep meaning of him saying goodbye to who he was and focusing on what he wants to become. The next big story would be Sonic 06, which has this strange time travel plot that I'm not going to get into, but similar to Shadow 05, Sonic 06 has an evil demon trying to tempt Shadow with images of his future. Shadow is captured and locked away by the people of Earth because they deem him too powerful and they're scared. Mephilus tries to tempt Shadow into joining his side, but my boy stands on business and spits the coldest line I've ever heard.
If the world chooses to become my enemy, I will fight like I always have.
once again showing that he's not gonna follow anyone else but himself. Blah, blah, blah. We're now at Sonic X Shadow Generations. Black Doom is back and is trying to essentially take over Shadow's body. When Shadow receives these Doom powers, the game's gimmick, he's closer and closer to succumbing to Doom's control, but who is there to pull him out of the darkness? Maria. Due to the Time Eater in Sonic Generations, Jesus Christ, this sounds like the stupidest thing in the world, Maria and Gerald are back, and this is the first time Shadow is seeing them in like 50 years. And here we get some deep cutscenes where we see Shadow grow, and I think there's 3 in particular that really made me start feeling connected to the character. When Shadow first interacts with Maria and Gerald, he kind of just assumes there's some illusion and doesn't pay much mind to them. But after a bit, Gerald deduces that this is some sort of time anomaly, so no, this is just them. With the Doom powers corrupting Shadow and Black Doom constantly taunting the dude, he is pissed, but Maria is there to comfort him. She doesn't know what he's gone through, but she can see that he's in pain. And we get Maria explaining why she named him Shadow.
Because without light, there's only darkness. But a shadow will show you where to find the light.
Bro, I mean, come on. The next one is right after Shadow absorbs the final bit of Black Doom's power. He has these evil-ass wings and is brimming with dark energy as the whole white space turns into red space. As he lands in front of Maria, Doom does one last taunt, but again, my boy stands on business and purges the dark energy out of him. This shows Maria that no, this is still the pure-hearted Shadow that she knows, and this is hammered in when he picks her up after a fall, and we get this shot right here. Sonic cutscenes have never been the best. While there are some absolute all-timers, a lot are pre-rendered and not using in-game models, lighting, etc, etc. And nowadays, with all the technology that we have in gaming, it's somehow worse. So as soon as I started Shadow Generations, I was blown away by just the level of quality we are getting here. The subtle character acting for Shadow has breathed so much life into these calmer scenes. The posing is fantastic, paired with a nice level of squash and stretch. Ugh, Sonic has never been animated so beautifully. So all this to say that when Shadow gives Maria this smile, it is something else. Every time the character smiled, it's either evil or cocky, but this right here, this reassuring, heartfelt look that he gives her is just everything. Which brings us to the final cutscene. With Devil Doom defeated and Sonic defeating his own boss in his game, the white space holding Maria and Gerald is breaking down and they're fading away back to their timeline. Shadow sees this and starts coming up with ideas to stop it. Maybe Chaos Control can slow it down or something, anything to keep them there. But Maria says no. They can't be frozen in time, they must move forward. Shadow must move forward, and that no matter what, she will always be in Shadow's heart. You feel how much this hurts Shadow. He's finally gotten a chance to see her one more time, and now it's about to end. The grief and anger, you see it. He knows he has to let go, and he does. As he skates past Rouge, a tear lands on her cheek. One of Shadow's tears. Not that I want Sonic bawling his eyes out, but that single tear from Shadow moved me more than I think Sonic ever has. It was like seeing Luffy break down after losing his whole crew. I felt the pain he was feeling, and when Shadow realizes that he has to let them go, I felt that anger and I felt that sadness as he ran off. It may not be big, but it is felt, and I think that scene alone is what really solidified Shadow being the stronger character. Sonic is supposed to be a character to look up to. Confident, cool, laid back, and free, but sometimes it ain't that easy. Listen, it's not like I'm fighting a primordial alien demon conqueror thing, but I'm going through some shit right now. And seeing Shadow face his own adversity, but still stand up in the face of it all, is truly inspiring. Sure, it may not be easy, it'll hurt, but getting back up and not letting it change who you are and who you want to become. That is real motivation right there, and that is what Shadow the Hedgehog teaches us. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. That was really cringe. I'm gonna get back to making regular scheduled programming. Also want to get back to making streams, but I thought that I just needed to get this video out so I had something. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next Smoker Janiac Classic. I don't know why I'm acting like this. Bye.